Hi, today is the perfect day to cut scionwood for grafting this coming spring. Scionwood collecting season coincides exactly with pruning season. Often as we do our pruning, we'll collect our scionwood at the same time. In May, that's roughly January 1st to April 1st. A scion is last summer's growth. Some people say 1-year-old growth. You can see I've cut one here, and it begins right, well, if you go to the extremity of any branch on a fruit tree and then follow it back, you'll come to a node. That's the point where last summer's growth began, is right here. So you can also see there's a bit of a color change there, which sometimes is pretty evident. But this is what you want for grafting. This piece on a vigorous young tree can sometimes be 4 feet long or 3 feet. And then on a very, very old tree that hasn't been cared for, it can be 1 inch or even less than 1 inch. We also, so let's see, here's a branch right here. And I go out to the tip and I come back, and right there I can see where last summer's growth began. This is my scionwood right here. Now over here on this tree, I will show you a water sprout. Sometimes trees throw out sprouts like this one here that is coming off of a branch and going straight up. Sometimes these, they call them water sprouts. Sometimes these come off the trunk. Here's a water sprout that came off, and I grafted it a few years ago. They can come right out of the trunk. Water sprouts make good scionwood too. They are great for scionwood. Now, one thing though that you do need to be careful about is if you are taking scionwood from a grafted tree, you don't want to take it from below the graft. That means that if you have sprouts, unlike this tree, if you have sprouts coming up out of the ground right around the base of the tree, you probably don't want to use those as your scionwood. You have something like this because it's probably from below the graft. Okay, let's cut some scionwood. So I could say that I'm going to prune right here anyway, so I'll just cut this off as though I'm pruning. And then I'll follow the tip back. There's that node I was talking about, and we'll cut just below it. This can be discarded. And here's my piece of scionwood. Now, I take a piece of duct tape. This is one of our favorite Maine apples, Black Oxford. And I wrap up the scionwood with a piece of duct tape and use a Sharpie to label it. We tend to leave our scionwood full length, as long as 2 or 3 feet long, because we use garbage bags to store it. But if you just have a little bit and you want to store it in a plastic bag, like a sandwich bag or whatever, you can cut it to different lengths. And this, I could probably trim this off a little more. Now this will easily fit in a small plastic bag. I put this in a plastic bag and I seal it. If it's a Ziploc bag, I Ziploc it. Then I do a double plastic bag it, and then triple plastic bag it. So now I have this. I don't put any moisture in it. It doesn't need to be wet. I just put this in this triple bag, seal it up, and then I can put it in the refrigerator, or I can also put it in a cold basement. We have an unheated basement, so I put it there, but I never put it in the freezer. If you put it in the freezer, you'll kill it. Now, by this method, you can cut your scionwood right now. It's January. You can, as I say, in Maine, right up till about April 1st or so, and it will keep as long as 4 or 5 months in cold storage, ready for you to graft in the spring. So, happy cutting.